Good morning, Macomb. I'm Spencer Andrew, and today I will be interviewing WIU President Kristi Mindrup about her role as president and her plans for the future. I also have some more entertainment news for you coming up in the next half hour. Good Morning, Macomb starts now. I had the honor of interviewing WIU President Kristi Mindrup. However, because of her schedule, we needed to conduct the interview in her office. We take you now to her interview. Enjoy. How did it feel to become the first female president at Western after coming into the interim position following your predecessor?
Yeah, so I was the first interim woman president, and now I'm the first permanent woman president. And initially, just personally, it wasn't something I thought directly about, but it occurred to me as something important, both for the university, demonstrating our commitment to creating a sense of community for all of our students, and especially also from the perspective of showing our students from a variety of backgrounds what's possible. You know, this is a position that can be held by an individual regardless of their background and identity, and in fact, in celebration of it. And so that was pretty special to think about.
Awesome.
Especially, I'll add this note. If you go out in the hallway of Sherman Hall, you'll notice the president's prior all lined up on the wall. And so sometimes when I walk down the hall, I am very mindful of the fact that I'm the first woman in a long line of really great men who served as our presidents in the past.
It's pretty cool because knowing our school's history, it started like many other state schools here. In Illinois, it started as like a teaching college.
That's right.
And it was probably predominantly female back then, I would imagine. So that's pretty cool.
It is.
So I want to start going into leadership and transition.
Sure.
So like, I guess we already kind of touched base on that. Okay, so let's go to, so you've been with WIU obviously for many years before becoming president, probably for 25 or so with Quad Cities.
Yeah.
Before you transitioned over here. So how has this institutional knowledge informed your decisions during some of the challenges that we're currently facing?
That's something I've thought about quite a lot, particularly over the years. When I've been involved with various searches for the university, and you're always balancing that idea of bringing in fresh perspective, and then balancing that with institutional knowledge as well. I think when I came into the position, I hope what I've brought is both a fresh perspective because I was on a different campus, but I also have the institutional knowledge. Part of that knowledge is having developed really positive relationships with faculty, staff, and students over the years. When you've built those relationships, you can really hit the ground running because you have the relationship established, you kind of know how people operate, and as well as you have some trust built. And so I think those were some advantages for me jumping into this role. I think also the institutional knowledge of both thinking about Western, where we are, how we can be as efficient and strong as possible where we are, but then using that as a foundation for a future that evolves with a changing landscape of higher education.
Yeah, you brought up a good point. It's really important to have that one-on-one connection with your faculty, staff, and students because the more comfortable are with you, the easier it'll be able to work with them. One of our faculty members in our department is very, very open. She has a very open door policy. Even outside of office hours, you can just step in and talk with her and get to know her one-on-one, and that helps her to be able to know what's going on in our lives personally, and she's able to help use those dynamics between everybody to know how they work best together.
Yeah, that rapport is so important.
It really is. So with that being said, what has been the most unexpected challenge you faced transitioning since interim to being confirmed, and how has it shaped your vision for WIU?
Yeah, I think the greatest challenge in I don't know if it's specific to the role transition, because the difference between being interim and permanent in my case is less about how I approach the position and more about the external perception of the position being more permanent and stable, which is positive for the university. But certainly the greatest challenges we faced were finding ways to make Western more self-sufficient. We've been highly dependent on other sources, whether it's decisions, policies, also our funding, the ways that we're funded and the ways that that we operate accordingly. And so we recognized as a team an opportunity to really make a university that is able to stabilize in and of itself and to be sustainable long term, because we're taking care of ourselves both financially and also with our vision for the future.
Yeah, I'm going to touch base on that later on. I remember I asked you at one of the leadership events, I believe it was maybe with SGA in the past, and I told you, like, someone needs to play the journalist role here, and I asked you about, like, the funding and stuff, because a lot of people didn't understand, like, the funding Pritzker gave us was for just the building alone. And then you touched base, or someone else up there with you touched base on your cabinet about the new funding bill, and you also talked about. So how would you describe, like, your leadership philosophy as of right now, and how has it evolved as you've addressed difficult decisions, whether it's regarding, like, infrastructure issues, maintaining personnel, or budgeting?
Yeah, that's a really great question. My leadership style, particularly as it relates to the expectations people have for a president, there's sort of a buck stops here mentality that people have about the president, or an assumption that you know the decisions are made at that level, and there's a lot of weight put on around the position of president. And so it's always been very important to me throughout my career, regardless of which role I've been in at Western Illinois University, that collaboration is key. I mentioned the relationships that you develop, the relationship you have with your teams, and also how your in my case, I have a leadership team, and how that team collaborates and interfaces with stakeholders across the university, ensuring that all of our processes were as collaborative as possible has always been a priority of mine, as well as making sure that individuals across the university, maybe they're not in a particular group, or you know, they want to make sure that they're participating or they have a great idea, making sure that everybody at every level is able to participate in the university, and you know, how we plan for the future. I think that one of the challenges early on, some of the challenges we faced last summer, needed to be addressed so quickly. And so sometimes that value that our leadership team has for shared collaboration and leadership either had to be expedited, or we just had to move swiftly through certain processes. So it's a little bit, it's interesting how circumstance can shift the type of leadership that's called for in a given moment.
Yeah, awesome. With that being said, so touching base on one of the issues that is, like, developed since we last spoke is regarding, like, some infrastructure. So regarding specifically, like, Lincoln and Washington halls. So beginning next semester in the fall, it could be argued by students that, like, this decision could lead to significant implications for residential life. But could you elaborate on the specific infrastructure issues that necessitated this decision, like regarding the mold?
Yeah, not aware of that specifically, but our goal in addressing, so we're addressing the overall campus footprint.
Yeah.
The university has millions of dollars in deferred maintenance, and so we are very interested in examining our buildings, especially the buildings with good bones, and looking at ways that we can renovate, update them, so that they're more appealing for students. I think particularly there's opportunity with our residence halls to come up to a more modern concept. And so the way that we can do that is by looking at the buildings we already have in our inventory and looking at the opportunities in those spaces, as well as any challenges that we could anticipate, to look at the ways we would be able to address some of those renovations to make them much more student-centered. The way that we can do that is by taking it offline for a period of time. When you do that, there is both simultaneous savings, cost savings, because you're not paying utilities and operating the building and having to clean it and some of those things. And some of those funds, as well as some funds identified through the institution, can then be used to better the space. So there is an impact, certainly, on the students who are currently residing in those spaces. But for the long term of the institution, it's in our interest to continue to update all of our spaces so that they're meeting the needs of students and so that we are in line with what students are expecting in residence hall spaces.
Right.
We have to take a short commercial break, but when we come back, I will update everyone on the latest and upcoming and current movie and series releases. Stay tuned.
At Western Illinois University, leathernecks don't just blend in. Our purple stands out. Our students are innovative, creative, and resilient. At WIU, there's limitless potential, with campuses in Macomb, the Quad Cities, and online. Visit wiu.edu/potential to become a leatherneck and get an education that stands out.
I'll be here to hear what's on your mind. Take this time to talk and get it right. You know I'll be there all your life. When you need me, I'll be by your side.
Little everyday conversations about the dangers of underage drinking can make a big difference in a child's life. Talk, they hear you.
At Western Illinois University, you will explore your talents in a place where you belong. No matter where you come from, no matter what you want to do, we believe in where your potential will take you. Learn more at wiu.edu.
Attacks against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders are on the rise.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer. In terms of the hate crimes, I think there is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Welcome back. Let's talk movies. Greta Gerwig is at it again, this time with The Chronicles of Narnia, which is set to hit theaters this fall. After the massive success of the Barbie movie, the stakes are high, and I can't wait to see what she does with this classic fantasy franchise. Netflix is releasing Stranger Things, the final chapter, this July. The Duffer Brothers have promised an epic conclusion to the series. And spoilers, tissues will be required. Keanu Reeves is returning as John Wick in a spin-off series called The Continental Chronicles. It's set to explore the origins of the infamous Hotel for Assassins. Also, don't forget to take a look at Disney's newly released Snow White, which is currently in theaters. It promises to be a whimsical tale that will capture the hearts of kids and adults alike. That's all for entertainment this week. Stay tuned for the conclusion of my interview with WIU President Kristi Mindrup right after this break.
Take me home, say sweet home. Wherever I may roam, you will take me home. Years passing by and I seem to get it right with you by my side. You're my special place. You're where I feel safe. You and nothing else. Take me home, safe and sound. All in all, that's all I need. Take me home, safe and sound. All in all, that's all I need.
Welcome back to Good Morning Macomb. We will now go back to my interview with President Mindrup, already in progress.
All right, I'm sure you're tired about the decision when we had to lay off the 9 faculty librarians, because it's been like seen as controversial by critics. So again, if someone were to ask you on the street, like, hey, regarding this decision in the summer, like, how would you respond to like concerns that this decision will, if they were to say, oh, it's going to significantly diminish the quality of library services and academic support going forward, like, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I just have a very brief comment, and that is through new models and by looking at the library in new ways, thinking about what are students asking from our library, what are the expectations of the modern day library. Western is still very well positioned to deliver library services to students.
Yeah, I mean, that's a problem. It's really easy in this day in society to just, without getting the full scoop. That's why, like, being a journalist, you have to hear both sides of the story and you have to tell the facts.
Yeah.
You can't just assume one thing or another, because like, Alex Jones, for example, he assumed that, he always used to spew that the Columbine shooting like never happened or whatever, and he got sued for $2 billion because it was slander. He was just making a joke out of everything.
Yeah.
So you can't just assume.
That's right.
So that's why I just want to ask to
Yeah.
let the viewers, like, because I can't tell the story. I don't know all the details.
Yeah, that's right.
You
That's
have
right.
to hear the other side. All right. Okay. So what steps is your administration like continuing to be taking to improve WIU's financial sustainability, like beyond any workforce reduction?
Sure. So over the past year, Western Illinois University has been challenged to address 2 financial issues. One is the shorter-term financial issue, which is our cash flow situation, and the second is our longer-term budget sustainability and having a balanced budget. For the short-term issues, of course, you're aware of the personnel reductions. The university over time, because of declining enrollment, has probably needed to right shape for a long time. And so looking at the number of students that we're serving and really delving into some of the details of academic programs, of student services, we needed to identify ways to scale the university in a way that's more financially sustainable. And so some of those immediate decisions that took effect immediately last summer, those have resulted in some significant savings that have extended our cash flow runway. Because of the changes, our university was going to encounter a pretty serious cash flow situation last fall, but we avoided that. And we did that both through those reductions as well as operations, And then a few other strategies as well, where we've worked with with the governor's office in the state of Illinois, the Illinois Board of Higher Education, to access funds that we knew had already been allocated to WIU, and then to also identify other opportunities as well. We've put forward a couple of bills at the state level. One will allow, if they chose to do so, our foundation to extend a line of credit to the university to help us through a financial situation. And the other is a $7.2 million bill in support of the Western Illinois University Innovation Center at the Quad Cities. So we are both focused on, as I mentioned earlier, taking care of ourselves, and also identifying opportunities for external revenue, while also thinking creatively and innovatively at, certainly working hard to ensure that we're working closely with our state on our appropriation, but also making sure that we identify other opportunities where the university can identify funds in support of our programs, people, and services.
Yeah. So as higher education continues to evolve nationally, because as we've talked about, there's a continuing trend of less and less people going to college, and also that could be argued and because of the declining birth rates, because more people are pursuing their professional careers in education before.
Sure.
What do you believe will be WIU's most distinctive strengths, 5 years from now?
That's a really great question. I think some of our existing strengths will still be at play. Western Illinois University is recognized as one of the best institutions for social mobility. So in other words, as students come to Western, they, I think, first and foremost, discover their potential, and then develop a toolkit to attain their goals. And I think they truly discover and develop an authentic sense of self, so that they can envision what is possible for them, and truly understanding, through the interaction with faculty, mentors, through programs and services on campus, really developing as a person, so that they're in a much better position once they graduate to be successful in career, in their community, and in life.
Yeah, that's one of the things that kind of astounded me when I came here, and I learned that fact. Yeah, you're right. At least within the state, and if not the nation, we're one of the top schools to move students up. That's one of the things I love about being a student here. Is I've met kids who are they're white, and some of them have never even been on a vacation in their entire life, and you just never would have assumed that. And then you see them working so hard, and they're doing all these great things here, and then you only know it's a nice looking picture straight ahead. So there's light at the end of the tunnel. So.
That's right. It's so true. Another area that I see Western Illinois University well positioned in the future, we're currently undergoing a rebuild in academic affairs. And so there's a look at the overall organization structure in academic affairs. And it's not just the sake of changing reporting lines and the organization chart, but it's actually what the faculty are engaged in is a process to look at how the institution organizes itself in ways that well define what type of programs we offer here at the university. And so you think about some of the programs Western is very well known for. So agriculture, education, which you mentioned earlier, we're founded on being a teacher education institution, criminal justice, and there are so many other programs that Western is known for. I think we have a great opportunity to package those in a way that resonates with students, so that when they look at what Western has to offer, they can envision, this is what that program means to me. This is what that program can prepare me to do as far as a professional and in a career. And I think that will be something that we continue to strengthen over the next 5 years. And then finally, I'll just mention as well, we have a great opportunity as an institution to adapt with the changing times. And I think part of that is higher education has probably needed to do a better job of explaining how our graduates contribute to the quality of life and especially the workforce of our communities. And so thinking about what constitutes a well-rounded workforce, you know, we have different sectors, business sectors, manufacturing sectors, education, you know, nonprofit organizations. Also the arts are a huge part of our society. And so you think about the university portfolio, we have a social responsibility to continue to make sure that we're aligned with what's needed in the state. So I know Western is paying close attention to, you know, what programs allow us to respond to the manufacturing needs of the West Central Illinois region, respond to the teacher shortage. It's not as much of a shortage as it used to be, but we still have work to do. And certainly looking also at healthcare opportunities and some of the service that's provided through our counseling program or speech pathology program. These are high need areas in our community, and nursing certainly plays a part in that as well as we continue to see healthcare and the rising need for healthcare in our communities, particularly in rural communities. And I think Western Illinois University is very well positioned to partner with our community, to partner with our providers throughout the region to ensure that we are a place where their future workforce can come, earn their degree, and then be ready to hit the ground running in their new role in healthcare.
This is the last show of this semester, but we hope to have the momentum to keep the show going in the fall semester. Thank you to my awesome guests, and until we meet again, good morning, Macomb.